there's one thing we can all agree is that William's minions are just as dumb and stupid like him. They're just so stupid and dumb. When you have a royal expert or someone who claims to be a royal expert and has been making commentary on the royals for a very long time, and still is like, he does not understand what's going on in relation to Andrew's titles being stripped, and then Eugenie and Beatrice. It's something like, but then again, anyone can be a royal expert. One thing with this so-called royal expert, they're not royal experts. Someone wakes up and decides, okay, I want to make money. How do I make money? Yeah. They figure, okay, hating on Harry and Meghan is $1 billion industry. So let me just label myself as a royal expert. And then when that happens, they go on and doing that. No research, whatever. They just have to incite hatred, talk about bullshit. And somehow that makes them a royal expert. So then two royal experts are going head to head. And it's so hilarious because the way the internet is dragging one of them to filth is very, very entertaining. So you guys are familiar with the one and only Richard Eden, or should I say Maureen? Let me introduce you to Maureen. Richard Eden, aka Maureen. And this man, we know he's dumb, we know he's stupid, but this is next level. Because you had people, even biographers, even authors, literally in his comments telling him, you are so stupid. Like, and you call yourself a royal expert? You are very, very stupid. So what Eden did is, in light of everything that's happening with Andrew right now, he took to X and said, I have generally been a supporter of Beatrice and Eugenie, but I can't see how they remain princesses when their father is no longer a prince. You know, you just have to laugh when someone who claims to be an expert and talks about royals literally comes to write such stupid whatever this is on X, because people are like, shut the hell up, what is wrong with you? But I've seen some people, very smart by the way, feel like, you know, he's William's minion, so he's trying to taste the waters. This is like, you know, he wants to see, you know, by bringing Beatrice and Eugenie in the mix, it's like, you know, Harry with Archie and Lilibet. What's so frustrating with everything that's happening right now, which is so annoying, is the fact that people are bringing Harry and Meghan into this entire discourse. You're like, this man is a pedo. Like, this man has been accused for the most heinous acts you could ever think of. Why would you compare Harry and Meghan to this disgusting man? Harry and Meghan have not done anything wrong for them to lose their titles. They've literally not done anything wrong. And there's a group of people on the internet or social media who are so sick and tired of William constantly threatening of stripping Harry and Meghan, Archie and Lilibet's titles. To a point they're like, you know what? Maybe let's just strip them. Okay, take the titles away. Take the titles away, because one thing we know with Harry and Meghan, they've made a name for themselves. It's not about the titles. We know who they are. Whether they take the titles away or whether they still have the titles, we know who Harry and Meghan are. Because people are just sick and tired of how they keep inserting Harry and Meghan in this mess. Saying, hey, now it's Harry and Meghan, Harry and Meghan. And you know what's funny? Even if they take the titles away, which we know they cannot, they still talk about Harry and Meghan. It's not like them taking the titles away, it's going to be now, they're never ever going to talk about Harry and Meghan. They are still going to talk about Harry and Meghan. And the audacity and that these clowns think that that's even possible, that William has the power to do so. And if he as stupid as he is and he tries, the backlash, I don't know, the backlash will be crazy. You know, it's one thing to strip Andrew. In fact, people are like, this man should be in prison. This man should be in prison. And it's another for you to even insinuate that Harry and Meghan's title should be stripped. And another thing, people reminded them, hey, you remember Harry and Meghan back then? They literally were willing to get rid of these titles, and Charles was like, no. And people are like, okay, there's a group who's like, okay, strip them. We will be happy to call Harry Spencer, Meghan Spencer, Archie Spencer, Lilibet Spencer. You think they keep holding these titles over their heads like it's some sort of, I don't know what. And it's like, take them away. Maybe the bullying will stop. Like, we're sick and tired of constantly threatening them. But at the end of the day, one thing a lot of people agree with on the internet is the fact that William has no power to do that. They cannot do that. And even with Andrew, taking the titles away does not mean he's still not a prince. He's very much still a prince. He was born a prince bloodline, so he's still a prince. So that is not going to change. But here again, back to Richard Eden, aka Maureen, again bringing in Eugenie and Beatrice, which by the way, people feel like he's just testing the waters, using that platform to see how people are going to react. But in real sense, he wants just that to apply to Archie and Lilibet. So someone else, which by the way is very, very interesting. Let me point it out. So Ray Hadel is another annoying prick, like an annoying prick. He's usually on GB News. And he literally was in the comments, checking him out, saying, hey, he had to check him, to fact check him. Like, what is confusing? How dumb are you? So Ray replies and says, what is so confusing? The 1917 letters patent makes it clear that the children of a son of the sovereign Elizabeth II are entitled to the style of Her Royal Highness and title of Prince/Princess. They hold their status and title in their own right by virtue of their relationship to the sovereign. The status of the son of the sovereign is irrelevant. Ray Hadel Monku, co-editor, Bucks Peerage, Wild Orders of Knighthood and Merit. So yeah, people are like, hey Richard, you're so dumb, you're so stupid. Don't stop calling yourself a royal expert. You've been commenting on the royals for a very long time and you don't even know how these titles work, how everything works. How stupid are you? So this man is being chewed. For you to have another person who, by the way, is just as annoying as him, having to fact check him, pretty interesting. So he's being chewed in the comments and it's so satisfying. One thing I like is bringing you guys the comments so you have an understanding of how people are reacting to whatever is happening. So you have Daenerys says, I can't decide if Eden was looking for engagement on his flop royal page or he really is ignorant regarding the details of the monarchy. Either way, he should be embarrassed by the responses. Yeah, the comments are wild. Marcia says, I thought these idiots pride themselves on being monarchists. All these games, a born prince, hereditary, is he forgetting they come from the male line? Then, why chide outsiders for not knowing every little detail of their customs and their protocols? The spoiler says he's setting the stage for William trying to take Harry's title and remove his children from the line of succession to keep them from being royal. Jay says Maureen is such an airhead. Bexy says anything for a headline from Maureen. And then Unique says royal rat snake that knows nothing, only dog biscuits. Then this guy says, just because they want to be calling him prince does not mean he isn't. He's the son of the late queen, the brother of the now king. The only way he wouldn't be a prince is if the monarchy is dissolved, which means there will be no king, no queen, no princess, no princesses, duke, or earl. Very true. Kim says, this idiot, Richard Eden, supposedly journalist, beside a royal expert, does he not know how the title works? His only support of himself as long gets, money. Hart says, I think this tweet from Eden is about Prince Archie and Princess Lily and his hope for when, if Prince Harry loses his titles, what should happen to his children? Otherwise, he doesn't care about Eugenie and Beatrice. Very true. Then Proud Mary says, nothing is written in stone with those inveterable liars. The royalists screamed that Andrew's title could not be removed without a parliamentary decree. Yet without even a parliamentary debate, Pimp is no longer a prince, but magically his daughters retain their titles. The Blue says, I'm no royal expert, but if you're born a prince, son of a monarch, aren't you always a prince even if you don't use the title? I recall there was a bit of a problem after Henry VIII died and after Edward VI died. Mary and Elizabeth were both considered illegitimate for a minute. Bareback says, not surprised Eden will say such a thing. The guy's a moron. Peter says, you are embarrassing. Peter is an author. He's a big UK author. He's like, you are embarrassing. JC says, are you a proponent of original sin? Mish says, hilarious. When royal reporters don't know how royal titles work. Good job. We have someone who does at Raf, the other clown who had to fact check him. Kelvin says, you clearly have no idea about what you claim to be an expert in. Clock it. Kilari says, silly fellow, their gran was still monarch. Their uncle is still king. Couldn't the king write a letter saying that without regard to their father's choices, they are still themselves unless it should be proved otherwise? Andy says their titles are linked way back to letters patent. You should know this. You should, yeah. Says they are princesses by birth, Muppet. Magnolia says it's called a bloodline, damas. Anna says, how can you be a royal reporter and know less about the royal family than the average non-British royal watcher? Philip says, sadly, many royal commentators don't know how royal titles work, and sadly, they walk amongst us. Maiden says, what are you playing at here, Richard? You've been reporting on the royal family for how long? Miss says, please, you are a royal expert. You know where their titles come from. It is clear as day that you and the other royal reporters have started to pick on the girls. Both have been bullied since they hit teenage years. Question is, who is directing you to start bullying on them? Oh, you know who. You know who. The one incandescent with rage. That's who. Scrappy says, you effing moron. They are the granddaughters of a queen. That makes them blood princesses. Tracy says, Richard, I think you should educate yourself. Beatrice and Eugenie were not made princesses because Andrew was their father. They were given the titles as they were the grandchildren of a reigning monarch. Absolutely. So my loves, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Emerald, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.